Hi, my name is Mosin Saki, also known as the Sundown Rider. Now, many of you will have seen something you did not want to see. Something disturbing, something which has stolen your sleep from you for at least 2 nights. I'm with you, and I have been unable to sleep. Nightmares running rife with what I saw, the same thing you saw. I didn't want to see this. Neither did you. But in the distance, the screams of police sirens running through your waking dreams. If you are one of those affected by this and what you saw last chapter, then you are at the right place. This is a helpline for everyone affected. And if you are one of those unaffected by this, you are the problem. And you need to seek help. A number should appear on the screen somewhere down here. If you are unaffected by what we saw last chapter, you need to call this number. Confess your crimes and fix your shit. I'm the Sundown Rider. This is my chapter review to the 7 Deadly Sins, or Nanatsu no Taizai 293. That someday is now. And man, police sirens were going off in the distance. I ain't slept since that shit. So I hope you all know why I had to do that little intro, because man, there was some lolly shit going on, and you know, we ain't about that lolly shit. We ain't tasting, we are not jumping into that, you know. So, you know, whatever you guys want to do, you want to hashtag that shit, we ain't about that lolly, go for it. I don't mind. I condone this. But this chapter was good, and I'll go through it right now. So we have what essentially we start with Ban telling Elizabeth after she walks up to him, and she's like, yo, where the hell's Meliodas? He's like, don't worry, he's coming back for you, we're all good. And she's like tearing up and stuff, and obviously Ban, he's just looking left, right. He's like, you know what, you guys need to go do your shit. You guys need to go straight to where, I think it's at Camelot, where where the original demon, was that his name? Yeah, where the original demons, the fusion of Cusack and Chandler, where he is now basically about to kick ass. He's like, y'all need to head straight to where the captain is, because that's where this original demon is. But I've got my own shit to do. I need to do something first. So I'll meet up with you later. So they're all doing that. And then we get to see, and Griever, actually, I was watching his video. He made a really good point on this, saying that we have very, very, very few kind of segues into the Holy War. We very rarely see what the hell is going on in the rest of the Holy War. And One Piece is good at doing this, and sometimes over abuses this, or just abuses this, where we're concentrating on like Luffy versus Doflamingo or something, but then we see what the rest of the crew are doing, the rest of the characters are doing, in terms of, we'll see Bartolomeo and friggin', what was it, Robin or something against, or what was the flag guy called? I've forgotten the flag guy's name, Diamante, and stuff like that. We see a whole bunch of different things. We see Zoro versus Pika. We see Frankie versus Senor Pink and stuff like that. So it's just seeing the extensive character kind of network, this universe that you've built. If they're included in the story and they're at this, they're doing something pivotal to the story, include them and build your story based off of them. Because you can't just start a holy war and then focus on one team and completely forget about the fact that you've named each of these characters. You've given all these other characters abilities, powers. You have to see how they influence the story. Otherwise, there was no reason to introduce them. There's no reason to introduce them. And it would be like, for instance, if in Game of Thrones, I'm not going to throw any spoilers because I know a lot of people won't have watched or read it. But for instance, let's go through the first book. Imagine if we had been introduced to someone like Arya or someone like Sansa, or someone like Tyrion, and they had no direct influence on the outcome of the story. So Tyrion would have had no influence on the kind of influence he has now, which is really a lot of influence on the story. But imagine if he would been introduced to him and then suddenly come back to him in the position that he is now. You need to see that progression all the way through. Otherwise, there's no point. And I think even I'm not sure if Griever actually made this point. Actually, he has made this point. I'm pretty sure he feels this way. But even this now is too late to show us what people like Matrona, what people like freaking Gila and stuff like that are doing. Hauser. This is really late to be showing us shit that they've been doing, because they've been fighting the Holy War essentially while the sins and stuff and the demons have been taking on the big mans. They've been fighting the Holy War, and we haven't seen much of that, and that's what this all is. This is Holy War 2.0. Look at this double spread. They are kicking the shit out of each other. The demons are going in, Matrona's going in, and you can see how tired they all are, because Gila gets hit, even though she's actually not the most powerful, so it doesn't matter. But Hauser gets hit, and I was like, okay, he should be pretty decently powerful. We see some Tempest thing going off, and we see that it's Elaine. So Elaine's gotten back up, and she's helping out the squad essentially against these demons and all these lesser demons, which I think it's not the fact that they're powerful, it's just that there's millions of these guys. It's like the orcs versus the Fellowship. There's just a shit ton of these guys. Boromir was always going to die. That's just the way things are. Ned Stark also dies. Spoiler there. If you don't know that, you're really behind. But so these demons are essentially overrunning the entire squad with Hauser, Elaine, and all that, just simply because there's too many of them. Elaine's getting wrecked, and she gets rescued by Gerhardt, and Elaine still needs that rest, and she's got her wings and everything. Griever mentioned that her body seems to have matured a bit. I don't think so. I think she's still lolly deluxe, so we ain't about that lolly life. And so she mentions to Gerhardt, it doesn't really matter what happens to me, I'm only alive through that vengeful soul resurrection thing. We see Matrona going in. I really love Matrona. I think she's a badass. She does the Fangs of the Earth technique, absolutely decimates a whole bunch of different demons, but even she gets dropped on her back and almost wrecked by a few demons. So we see that even people like Matrona, who are exceptionally powerful, Matrona is she's no kind of weakling or just kind of minor character. She's powerful. Matrona is she's been extensively shown to be powerful, and the fact that she got dropped on her back shows that someone like her is able to be overpowered by just numbers, and the fact that even if you're powerful, if you're fatigued, you're not going to get anywhere, which is the situation for her. We then see Elaine release a dirty attack called Tempest Force, essentially like Hauser, but by a million, and she just summons these tornadoes out of nowhere, decimates a whole bunch of different demons, and essentially at this point she uses up all of her magical power, and even some of her, essentially she uses up her life force as well. Griever mentions that too, and you can tell this is the case because her wings just fragment and just blow away in the wind. So she's completely devoid of magic at this point, and she's on the verge of dying. In her mind, she's just thinking about, I wish I could have seen Ban one last time. And then cue an awesome friggin' panel where Ban just comes in and just absolutely decimates every single demon surrounding Elaine, just swiping his hand. And he's still in his purgatory outfit. I think it's awesome. I think Ban is cool as frick. I personally like Meliodas and his tragic story. I love Escanor, but his ability, someone who's so OP, but actually, he's only OP for 1 minute of the day, so I love Escanor, I love Meliodas, but Ban was kind of I think Meliodas would be my number one, but Ban was always exchanging positions with Meliodas and stuff like that, just because. No, actually, I take that back. I think I've always liked Meliodas just because of his tragic story and his kind of mysteriousness behind him. Mysteriousness, is that even a word? And Ban was just someone I really enjoyed seeing every time, and I really hated it for a while because Ban was made to be that weakling character, that guy that just does absolutely nothing and just gets wrecked by everyone, and then he's pissed off about it at the end, and he's like, I couldn't help my friend. I'm like, why is he so weak? He doesn't even have a sacred treasure right now, actually, at this point in time, and he's already wrecking demons for jokes. So he comes back. Gerhardt shits herself that Ban's back. Hauser's yo, the heck is this? And he catches a falling Elaine, and she's there. loving the fact that Ban is back, and he's just there holding this little girl who's thousands of years old in his arms. And she says that her body and her wings returned. I'm like, was your body ever gone? I mean, like, someone clear that up for me. Maybe Griever's kind of observation of her maturing a bit is what she's referring to in terms of her body having returned. But I don't think she's matured at all. I think she looks straight, like a child. She still looks like a child. So Ban, you need to fix your shit up. But yes, she realizes that, I've used too much power. I'm basically about to die. So her arm raises and then falls to her side. She's dead. And Ban's like, nah. I did not go through purgatory for this shit. Everyone's silent, and he's like, this ain't the end though. He raises his hand, channels his life force into Elaine through the use of his new technique called Gift, and he essentially gives up his immortality in order to raise Elaine from the dead. So he gives her new life in exchange for his immortality. And that's basically, essentially, that's the Ban we've come to be given at the end of this chapter. Ban, he we see a couple pages actually of him just donating this energy to Elaine. And she's like, dude, you've lost eternal life now. And he's like, I don't care about that as long as I get to keep my promise with you and all that good stuff. But this is a big thing, a very big thing, because I'm not sure how it will directly affect Ban's abilities, because he'll be able to snatch as much power as he wants and stuff like that because of his upgrade through purgatory. But I'm not sure if we've ever seen how that affects him. Like, was it his immortal body that allowed him to take in as much power as he wanted without any of the strain affecting him? And then the whole fatigue issue with Ban, he was never one to get fatigued really, unless he used Fox Hunt or something like that, where he would just absorb, I think it's called Fox Hunt, where he would just absorb everyone's abilities and max himself out essentially, and then he'd be fatigued for after using that ability. But Ban's whole fighting style has been based off of the fact that he doesn't mind if he gets split in two, he doesn't mind if he gets his eyes gouged out or some shit. He'll just walk straight through it and continue attacking and stuff like that. But now he can't rely on that. Now if he gets hurt, he gets hurt, and he won't be able to heal. I mean, his body should have undergone several upgrades through being in purgatory, so he should be a lot tougher. Maybe he'll have the whole Espada thing where he'll have that steel or iron skin, so it'll be harder for people to cut through his skin. But I assume a demon on the level of Zeldris and above, they should still be able to actually cut through Ban. Only Ban should be a lot faster, he should be a lot more powerful, and he should just be a general badass. His clothes look sick. So we get all that, but I do think this is a big kind of nerf for Ban, in the sense that he's lost his immortality, but Ban has been incredibly buffed as well. So maybe this balances things out, but he should be fast enough to avoid major damage anyway, unless it's someone from Meliodas' 5 Commandments or some shit like that, or the original demon. This might actually stack Ban up better against the original demon, so he might actually need to utilize the rest of the sins in order to defeat him. But I fully believe that Ban's going to come in and still wreck his ass easy. Probably not easy, I take that back. So then we go straight to the panel in question, Ban kissing Elaine, and we get the full frontal, we see everything, and I'm just like, I'm not going to prison for this shit, not again. So yeah, that was, I mean, I understand that she's a lot older than she looks, but she looks like a child, and I'm just like, I'm not about that life. And that's why the helpline has been risen from the dust today. That's why the intro of this video is the intro it is. So that's how the chapter ends. I think Ban, now that he's rescued her, he's going to wreck every demon there. He's going to go straight towards Camelot and help the sins out against this new original demon, and they're going to kick some ass. And then Meliodas is going to come back, and we'll see how his emotions tie into him and stuff like that. But this was a good chapter. I mean, I was just very, very disturbed by the Elaine scene and the Ban kissing scene. That was just, not what I was into, or am into. Haven't changed. But let me know what you guys thought of that. Let me know what you guys thought of this review, this chapter, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow when I release my new My Hero Academia review. So I'll see you guys in a bit.